Have you ever wondered if it is possible to get stronger without actually working out? No gym, no weights, no sweat. It sounds almost too good to be true, but science says it might be possible. A few decades ago, researchers discovered that you can build real strength simply by thinking about exercise. People who only imagined lifting weights became stronger, even though they never touched a dumbbell. This idea that the mind alone can shape the body has fascinated scientists, athletes, and therapists ever since. Today, we will explore what this research really found, how it works inside the brain, and how you can try it yourself. Let's start with the groundbreaking experiment that began it all. In 2004, a research team at the Cleveland Clinic, led by Dr. Vinoth Ranganathan, conducted a study to determine mental training-induced strength gains. They recruited volunteers and split them into 3 groups. The first group performed real strength training exercises for their little finger abductor and elbow flexor muscles, using resistance bands and small weights. The second group did not lift anything at all. Instead, they sat still and imagined doing the same exercises in vivid detail. They were instructed to picture the movement as clearly as possible. They imagined contracting their muscles, feeling tension, and even visualize the effort of lifting. They practiced for just 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for 12 weeks. The third group was a control group that did nothing. At the end of the study, something incredible happened. The people who trained physically got stronger, as expected. But the people who only imagined the exercise also showed measurable gains. 35% more strength in their finger muscles and 13% more in their elbows. Brain scans showed increased activity in the motor cortex, the region that controls movement. In other words, the brain had been practicing even though the body was not moving. The participants' nervous systems learned to send stronger and more efficient signals to their muscles. This phenomenon is called neural adaptation, and it is one of the main reasons we gain strength early in any training program. So, what is really happening when you just think about exercise? When you imagine a movement, for example, a bicep curl, your brain fires many of the same neurons that would activate if you actually performed it. It is a bit like rehearsing a piano song in your mind. You are not physically pressing the keys, but your brain is still running the program, strengthening the connection between thought and action. This mental rehearsal creates what scientists call motor imagery. It strengthens the communication between your brain and your muscles, improving coordination and control. You do not grow new muscle fibers, but you make better use of the ones you already have. After the 2004 Cleveland Clinic study, other researchers wanted to know if this effect could be repeated. In 2016, a review of multiple studies found that mental imagery reliably improved strength and performance. 2 years later, in 2018, another study confirmed that the effect was most noticeable in smaller muscle groups, such as fingers and hands, though it still had measurable effects in larger muscles too. And in 2023, a newer review suggested that older adults often benefit even more from mental training than younger people. For them, the brain-to-muscle link can fade with age, so practicing mentally helps keep that connection alive and strong. Across all these studies, one message stands out: mental training works. The results vary depending on how often you practice, which muscles you focus on, and how vividly you can imagine the movement. Now you might be wondering, how much strength can you really gain from thinking alone? Most studies show that mental training produces about half the gains of physical training. So if lifting weights increases strength by 20%, mental training might boost it by around 10. That is not enough to replace real exercise, but it is still a powerful effect, especially for people who cannot train physically. Think about someone recovering from a broken arm or a stroke. In those cases, mental training helps the brain maintain or even rebuild the neural pathways responsible for movement. Rehabilitation specialists now use motor imagery to help patients recover faster. Even before a limb can move again, the brain begins relearning how to control it. This approach is not just for rehabilitation. Elite athletes use it too. Before a competition, many athletes visualize every step of their performance, every turn, jump, or lift. By the time they perform, their brains have already practiced the motion dozens of times. They move with more precision and confidence because their motor circuits are already primed. So how do you try mental training for yourself? Step 1. Find a quiet space and take a few deep breaths. Relax your body and clear your mind. Step 2. Choose a specific movement, such as a bicep curl, leg raise, or even a yoga pose. Step 3. Imagine the action as vividly as you can. Picture yourself moving slowly and with perfect form. Feel the tension in your muscles, the texture of the weight, and the rhythm of the movement. Engage all your senses, including sight, sound, and touch. Go through about 20 to 25 imagined repetitions for 2 or 3 sets. Repeat this practice 3 times a week. It takes only 10 to 15 minutes per session, but consistency is key. The more detailed and realistic your imagination, the stronger your brain-muscle connection becomes. Over time, your nervous system learns to activate your muscles more efficiently, just like physical training does. Scientists believe this method works because your brain does not fully distinguish between real and imagined movement. The motor cortex lights up in both cases, strengthening the same neural pathways. It is like upgrading the software that controls your body, even if you have not changed the hardware. Let's pause for a moment to think about what that really means. Strength is not just about muscles. It is about communication, how well your brain can talk to your body. You might have the muscle fibers, but if your brain cannot activate them effectively, you will not be able to use their full potential. This explains why beginners often see quick progress in their first few weeks of training. Their muscles have not grown yet. Their brains have just gotten better at using them. That is neural efficiency, and it is something mental training directly improves. So what is the key takeaway? Mental training will not replace your gym routine, but it is a valuable complement. It helps you practice form, enhance focus, and reinforce muscle control between workouts. It is also a proven recovery tool for anyone who cannot move due to injury, illness, or age. For older adults, mental imagery may even help preserve balance and coordination, reducing fall risk and maintaining independence. For athletes, it is a mental edge that sharpens performance under pressure. Your strength lives not only in your muscles, but also in your mind. By training your brain, you unlock potential that often goes untapped. You build awareness, precision, and control, the foundation of real physical strength. So yes, you really can get stronger just by thinking about exercise. Not as much as lifting real weights, but enough to remind us that the mind and body are deeply connected. Next time you cannot make it to the gym, do not underestimate the power of visualization. Close your eyes, focus, and let your brain do the lifting. You might be surprised at how much stronger you become. If you enjoyed this exploration of science and fitness, give this video a like and subscribe for more mind-body insights, and share it with someone who loves learning how the human body really works. Stay curious, and remember, your strongest muscle might just be your brain.